everybody, how you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Matt.
I'm Lauren.
Hey guys.
I'm Aunt Becky.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys.
Hey girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't do is grow this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. We have got a frosty morning here on the farm. Last night, the temperatures got down colder than anything we've seen so far into fall, so that was something. And let me tell you, Callie, she is kind of a fan, but only because she gets to get dressed up. So we are now here at the farm market. We've been working on getting it set up, so that involved cleaning everything and pulling stuff out of the cooler. We are just about finished though. We just have to move a few things over to the shelves and then we'll be done. Now it is the beginning of the week, so Dad had to head to the wholesaler, and there are a few things we have to keep in mind. We do have a big work time coming up at the end of the month, so we have to keep that in mind as we fill things up. Dad just got back from the wholesaler, so we're working on going through the order. That basically involves filling up anything that we need to, and all the excess we move into our cooler. When it comes to crops these days, we're harvesting cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and there's not much more than that. Just our late season cole crops is effectively what we're gonna be picking until it's all gone. But inside the cooler, we also have some potatoes that we had bagged up and also some local apples. We used to have an orchard ourselves. It didn't work out for us because when you were harvesting everything in the orchard, you also were harvesting all the vegetables. It just wasn't a good thing for us personally. We would rather stick to something that we're kind of good at, and raising vegetables is definitely that. But I just want to give you a little update on the cooler. This is going to be changing here within the next couple weeks. As we move into a different time of the year, we have to put different things in the cooler. You'll see, I'll update you as we do that. But for now, we don't have to worry about anything. It's not too bad, but we are starting to find some eggs on the floor. The chickens are laying them on the ground as opposed to the nests. We have plenty of nest space here. It's just sometimes when the chickens first start laying, it's a new experience to them. Laying them on the ground is pretty easy. What that does tell us is that our chickens do feel safe and comfortable, because if they did not feel safe, they wouldn't be laying eggs on the ground. They'll start to catch on a little bit later, and they'll start laying up in the nest too. But for now, we're gonna try and move all the eggs from the ground up into the nest to encourage those chickens from laying in the nest later on. It seems now that we've moved these older chickens into this pen that they've actually started laying more eggs. I don't know necessarily what the reason is, but we have been doing a lot of collecting in here. And the eggs have had great size, and there's been a lot of them. Got my first basket of eggs collected, on to the second. Good morning, good morning. Oh yeah, nests are full. Now we get the question put to us a lot, you know, why do you raise chickens for eggs? And a big reason is because eggs attract a lot of people into the farm market, especially when you can get fresh local eggs. Well, that's exciting. Another thing people appreciate is that all the ingredients that go into our chicken feed, well, it's kind of all grown right around here. Another thing is we will get asked why we don't pasture raise our chickens, and to be completely honest with you, the easy answer is we just don't want to. And maybe not that we don't want to, it's just we're not set up for it. Now, we could set up for it, but the best locations to do that would be down over this hill where we have our cattle. And quite frankly, we don't have the time and we don't have the resources at this moment to undertake another big job like that. Maybe in the future, that's something we could do. We take a lot of pride in our chickens. We put a lot of effort into raising them and making sure that they're healthy. And something we don't really talk about too much is we actually have a heavy population of coyotes in this local area. Not only coyotes, but we also have birds of prey, and we have this thing called a fisher. And let me tell you, they all enjoy chicken. Now, we could find ways to protect our chickens, but then that just adds to more work. And trying to protect these chickens would almost be like a full-time job out there, especially because they would not be too close to any of our buildings. There's always gonna be, well, can you do more, or what ifs? But for us personally, we're stretched thin as it is with the amount of jobs that we have to take care of. So right now, we're happy with the way we have our chicken set up. I think we are gonna go to a larger permanent pen with a little more space. But for now, we have so many jobs that we're trying to accomplish. Undertaking another big one, well, that probably wouldn't be the smartest. We occasionally get a lot of questions about the chickens, and I hope I answered some of the questions that you had. But if I did not answer one of your questions, feel free to leave it down in the comments and I'll try and get to it in a later video. Good morning, good morning. Look at these guys, they are getting so big. And then we got the 3 babies down here. Look at this guy, he is so fuzzy. Ooh. So Grandpa, how's the morning going for you?
Things are going good this morning. Calves are all hungry. I already gave them milk. I'm just giving them their water for the day.
Sounds good. Are you happy with the way the calves have been growing on their new feed and inside this greenhouse?
The new calf feed we got, I think, is really making a big difference. It's real sweet, so they're starting to eat sooner, and the sooner they're eating grain, the better it is. And then when they come off the milk, they look really nice. They grow really nice.
Now, what's different about this grain as opposed to the stuff that we were feeding before?
I wasn't happy with the stuff we were getting before. It was coming in big totes, a ton at a time. One time it would come in all real molassesy, and the next time it would come in all crumbles and dry. So it was never the same. I think it was the same feed, but it's just the way they were mixing it. They weren't mixing it properly sometimes. So we tried a new feed, and this seems to be more consistent.
And as all of you know, when you're trying to feed animals and when this is your business, consistency is key. And this grain being on the sweeter side, it's encouraging these calves to eat a little bit more when they're younger. Now, once we move them out to pasture, their diet will consist mostly of grass, silage, and hay, but this encourages them to put on a little more weight in the beginning, and it's an incentive when we pour grain on top of the silage later on. We just quickly grabbed some bedding with the skid steer loader. We put the sawdust in these pens. Cattle are pretty excited about it. Sawdust does a good job at wicking up moisture, and it helps to keep everybody healthy. Finishing off with the calves, that is all animals now taken care of. The next thing we need to do is get some potatoes bagged. It is potato eating season here in Northeast Pennsylvania, and that has been obvious by the amount of potatoes we have been selling. So we're gonna get hopped right into it, bagging up the potatoes so that we can take them up top. Now, all the potatoes we are bagging today have been washed. For the most part, when we store potatoes in here, they are unwashed because they store for longer when they have not been washed. Right before we bag them up, though, we will run them through our washer units that we have set up. They're not completely cleaned off, but it's a lot of the surface dirt gone. Now what's cool is this is a brand new potato scale because, Matt, what happened to the old one?
I think it was on the video. Joel did it.
Yeah, Joel dropped a bin of soybeans on it, but it's okay, accidents happen. We just are gonna call him the scale destroyer for like the rest of eternity.
Because that's what's supposed to happen.
It's funny how you get certain nicknames like that on the farm. I remember one year I dropped a flat of Mountain Fresh tomatoes, and Mountain Fresh tomatoes for the rest of the year were known as the variety that Andrew dropped. Yep, it was wonderful. Customers would be asking for tomatoes and we would say, you're looking for the kind that Andrew dropped. Well, I wouldn't say it. Everybody else would because they're mean. But that's okay, that's growing up in a big family. And sometimes the Mountain Fresh tomatoes have to be called the kind that Andrew dropped. Ooh, Dad, that was perfect. Sometimes you gotta adjust your potatoes to get the right weight in the bag. Don't lose any of those spuds. Over the next week to 2 weeks, we're gonna be bagging up a lot of potatoes. So hopefully we'll be able to make a big dent into all of our storage potatoes that we have here. I mean, there's a lot of potatoes here that we have to get through later on, but this is one of the busiest potato times of the year. So I know we'll make a big dent nonetheless. Well, that's 2 big jobs accomplished this morning. Animals all taken care of and those potatoes bagged. We have a few ideas for what we want to do today. We're just not sure what direction we want to go. So we're gonna have to talk about it a little bit. Then we'll be moving on to our next job. Push that shut. Push it, push it, push it. Push, push, push. Good job. What did you think about all those potatoes that we just brought in?
Hey.
Hey, do you like potatoes?
I like potatoes.
How many potatoes do you like?
2.
2? How many potatoes could you eat?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow, that's a lot of potatoes. Can I get a woohoo potatoes?
Potatoes!
Yeah! Dad, I just want you to know, Callie is a big potato lover.
Side by side.
She wants to go on the side-by-side. We had a little bit of a change of plans. A customer showed up and wanted 12 bales of straw. We don't have enough here, so we're gonna run and grab it for them. Up in the barn. Remember how full this thing was at one point? Well, we've been making her empty.
Don't hurt me.
Now I am back on floor level, but we have all this straw stacked here. We have all that straw to the other end of the barn. So there's quite a bit yet to unload out of here. We are taking a few at a time. There will be moments where we'll take hundreds out, but for the most part, you're just selling bales here and there. We had a few bales up here, but not enough for what our customer needed. So we got her all taken care of. And we also brought up about 20, 21 bales. So there should be plenty up here. We decided what we are gonna be doing today is getting our combine all ready for harvesting corn. We've got our flex head on the combine right now. We needed to take this off. We're all finished with beans for the year, and we're not gonna be using this for any type of grain that we're harvesting. So this has got to get kicked off. So what we're gonna do is take this head off, get our corn head put on, and then make a few more adjustments, and then we'll be ready to start corn harvest. Combine needed a little bit of help this morning, probably because it was so chilly. Now we just got to get these heads switched around, work on a few more things, and we'll be ready to go. Now when I say we got a few things to do, it's easy to think, oh, they'll be cutting corn in like an hour. No, we got some big jobs to take care of. But we're one step closer, and that's all that matters. So Dad is gonna be making his way over to get the flex head unhooked. I'm gonna try and get over there a little quicker than him with the side-by-side so I can get all the gates open. Uh-oh, we've got company. What? Are you excited to see me? Yeah, they're always excited to see me. We show up over here, the cattle think they're getting a snack. The last time we were here, we brought a lot of pumpkins for them, and they have been loving that. The cattle seem pretty interested about the harvester there in the beginning, but once they realized how big it was, they're like, whoa, get me out of here. So the next thing that we need for our combine is the bin extensions. We did not use them during bean harvest. This really allows you to pick a lot more corn, and the less time you're spending dumping, the more time you're spending picking. It just makes everything a little more efficient. So we're gonna get this pulled out here, and then we're gonna try and get it attached onto that combine. That will be a big job out of the way. So we've got our extensions pulled out, but we ran into a little bit of an issue. To pick this up on top of the combine is not easy. We want to do it on level ground, so we're gonna have to pull the combine down here. Only problem is there's a wagon with a tire that is flat in the way. And yes, that is one of the tires that we changed, but we're gonna say it's not our fault because you know that's what you do. If there's a flat tire, it's not my fault. But anyway, we're gonna get it fixed. Our brand new tire, yeah, that's fine. It's when we get on this side. Yeah, that one right there. We got the tube pulled out of our tire and we found a little bigger than a pin-sized hole. Could have been from anything. It could have been from when we were taking it out of the other tire, putting it back in. There's many different things that could have happened to that tube. But now that we know where the problem is, we can get it patched and then we can get it put back in the tire.
There's like another tiny puncture right there, but it doesn't go all the way through. Now the delicate procedure, you're putting air in it without losing the valve stem.
You ever lost a valve stem in a tire, Dad?
Yeah.
Were you happy about it?
No, it used to be a friend of mine saying,
What's that?
stupid is as stupid does.
Tire is all good. We got air in it, and we were gonna put it on after lunchtime because it is now lunchtime, but we just had a truck show up because, you know, that's when all trucks show up, at lunchtime. Wonderful. Ooh, you would not believe what is on the truck. It's our soil for the greenhouses. It showed up while it wasn't snowing. That's a first. It usually shows up when it's snowing. I don't know how many pallets are ours. We gotta check the paperwork, but pulling this stuff off is no easy task. Gotta be careful. Now, because it's lunchtime, really quickly before we get that truck unloaded, we came in here to get lunch. We had chicken patties. It was really good. We also had some fresh pickles here. Grammy's got pickled eggs. We also got peppers. Hoo-wee. You gotta come my way a little bit more. Okay. You guys are in the way, we gotta move you. All right, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, right there. We got one more left at the front of the truck. This has not been fun. I'm tired. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Don't you have an electric pallet jack? We do. The only problem is those stacks are so tall and the base on that is a little thinner, so they would be a lot more likely to fall over. Almost happened a few times. But Matthew and I stopped it with our bodies. And then, yeah, so the electric one would be easier, but it's also a little more dangerous on the truck. So we didn't use that one, unfortunately. But we're all about safety here, you know? Truck is now empty. Dad's taken off the last stack of dirt. Then we'll get our pallet jack off and we'll be done. The farm market. I'm not gonna lie, the arms and legs are a little bit tired from pulling all that stuff out. We got the large square bales moved over there, and then we also have bags of soil over here for the customers when they come back to pick it up. But that was a lot. We've now got our wagon moved out of the way. We got our combine, our harvester on a level ground, so that means we're now ready to pick up our min extension. Thankfully, the forklift makes this job a lot easier because trying to get up there by hand, oh, that would not be fun. So we're strapping it to the front of the forklift, which will make quick work of this. And once we get it up there, we just have to bolt it into place. Now we have the extensions into place. We just have to bolt it down so that it's secure, get everything folded up, and then we should be good. Now the thing is, we can fold it up now, which we probably won't do, or we can fold it up later. Folding it up later would probably be the best idea because it's a lot easier to travel that way. Hey, that looks pretty good. And here are the 4 bolts that hold the entire thing on. Well, that was quite the task getting that put up there, but it looks pretty good and it's ready to go. Honestly, today I thought that was gonna be the big job for us, not offloading all that soil. That was a pain. After we got finished with working on the combine, we got the farm market all closed up, and then, well, we got ready for dinner. We were at the main house today, and do we have a special treat tonight? We've just about got the whole family here. Right now, Mom, Tracy, and Callie are all working on a puzzle, and in here, we're all getting ready to sit down and eat. Tracy has made, what has she made, Matt?
Fettuccine Alfredo.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Doesn't that sound good? Oh, you better believe it. So since it's time to sit down and eat dinner, that means this is where we're gonna end the video today. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.